there, and welcome back to the channel. So I hope that video was helpful on the Audacity thing. You can do post-production with anything, of course, and Zoom comes with Cubase. I just never have fooled with it because the Audacity thing is so easy, and because I have an older computer that's on its last legs, and software was like going to slow it down too much, whereas Audacity runs really light. Okay, so now bass. This is literally the simplest bass part I've ever done. Not that any of my bass parts are complicated because I'm not a great bass player, but I tried a bunch of different stuff. I tried like different, little walks, all kinds of different little melodic lines, different moments to play. Like at the beginning riff, it's a guitar station, it's like a little solo riff that stands on its own in the mix. And I thought maybe I'd add like a kind of to go with the bass drum, but it was really just distracting from how cool that little riff sounds, just out in space on its own. So I don't think it needed bass. And then the bulk of the tune, like the main driving part of the song, the rhythm part of the song, is best, I think, just sort of driving like eighth notes, like. And I'm going to use my right hand the same way I did with guitar, where I was going back like a back and forth strumming pattern. It's like. Middle 8 section, I'm just going to play whole notes just to bolster that really low energy I've got going. Okay, so it's easier to play that pattern when the song is on. Alright, so the other thing that I wanted to go over was which effect I was going to use. Now, I don't typically mic bass. I don't right now have now Aaron, this is Aaron from Dynamite Death Chair, he's our bass player, and he has this little amp here, but I don't think that I'm going to better what's in here by miking this. I actually like plugging in direct, but when you plug in direct with that effect, you have the same problem you have when you mic an amp. You better have some kind of compression limiter, available. Otherwise, because of the low nature of the bass guitar, you need something, or you get these high variance in signal. Like you'll hit a note like this, it'll just peak you to death, and then another note, where you're just driving. It won't be at full volume, unless you're sitting there writing it, have somebody writing the mic. And that's the problem I used to have miking cabinets on bass. It's very hard to control with outboard compression if you're not like, very advanced recordist. So I love the way these zooms, I don't use these effects with guitar, but with the bass guitar, it's the perfect use of them for me. I really like it. Using that as opposed to trying to mic it. And there are two separate sections of bass guitar effects. So let's look at that. I'm going to hit the effect thing. And first you have bass. And then if you roll it back on your wheel, you have acoustic bass, which, sounds very jazzy, kind of, modern sounding. Let's see what this sounds like. It's a delay. Tones, you can play. I like writing songs on bass. I've never actually written a full song, but I come up with riffs on bass because it's just different. So that's kind of neat sounding. Let me see what this sounds like. It's called fine tune. Okay, now we'll go back to bass, roll forward, and I have been using tube pre. But I have tried bass man in the past, just because I'm a Fender nut. But it puts this sort of nasty edge on it, like a distortion. It doesn't sound natural to me, so I'm going to skip that one. And then number 0 really does that. The SVT, this doesn't sound anything like an SVT to me. I see where they're headed. They're trying to give it that bloom, but just it sounds like zzz. So I always end up on good old... Oh, the other one that I like is slap. I've used on Aaron's solo music, Aaron Poole, the bass player for our band, Dynamite Jet Chair, he, on his solo work, he uses slap on this thing, because I've recorded some of his stuff here. Has a little cleaner tone, but I think I'm going to just stick with good old tube pre. It has the right amount of bloom to it. So, what I ended up deciding, oh, now next, let's tune it real quick, just to make sure we're in tune. I'm going to hit Tool, Tuner, Enter, and then here we go. The only strings I'm playing is the E string, which is actually E flat, in this case, because I have this song in E flat, and then the D string, which I actually have it C flat. It's in tune, so that's all I need to making sure it's in tune. I mean, I made sure the old guitar was in tune, but double checking this time, that's all that was necessary. Okay, like I said, I should be able to nail this. I mean, I'll probably screw it up with my right hand, but nailing it shouldn't be hard. Let me just show you what the part sounds like with the music. Let's see what the sound is. So that's pretty simple. You can see what I'm up to here. I'm going to just start it from the beginning and try to get through it. I'm hoping to just get right on through it because there's not really much to it. I've already checked tuning, headphones on. That's what you'll hear in the headphones is what you just heard. I'm going to turn that off, obviously. We don't want that bouncing back. Although it wouldn't bounce back. Shoot, that won't matter at all. Let's see if I can hear it. That way you could hear the music while I'm doing it. It's pretty boring. I mean, it's pretty boring to watch this anyway, but it's pretty boring to watch it with no playback. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if that'll work. Let's see why when there's no microphone. I think that worked. You can hear it. It's not bothering me anyway. I can't hear anything to get the headphones on. So yeah, I'm gonna just rip it. Here we go. Undo that. Record play. And I cranked up the vocal to make sure I could get the feels for that. You know. Let's do it. because my pick was I'm playing this whole part with a pick. I'm not a good bass player, and so fingers would be impossible with this. Plus, you don't get the percussive attack with fingers. This whole idea is a Peter Hook thing, New Order, going back to Joy Division before that. But if you check out the video, Perfect Kiss, the Jonathan Demme directed video, Peter Hook just destroys in that, and that's, I guess, mainly the inspiration for this part from a lot of my bass playing. And he played big weird basses like this Victory bass. What a trippy bass! It's a Gibson's version of a P bass, highly weird, but I love it. It sounds great. It's just heavy. I mean, like extremely heavy. I don't even know how anybody would play this out. All right, here we go. Right off the bat with the wrong right hand move. Okay, here we go again. Just go back to where this starts again. I'm not going to redo the whole thing because I think it's okay. I'm just going to pick up right there. Okay, just going to do that over. Darn it. My hand was getting tired too. Bass has a way of just killing my hand. Okay, I want to go back to the middle 8 section and just make sure I didn't goof that. I added an extra note, not an extra note. Let me just hear this isolated at the end. I want to make sure I didn't flub any right hand action. I'm turning it off just to save it. I probably told you this before, and it may be just from the last system, but sometimes you'll be doing stuff, you know, and you record a take, and it'll be like a perfect take, or, you know, as good as it gets for you, and you're doing other stuff, and then you go to do something, and it locks up and starts spinning, and never comes back, and there's nothing you can do except turn it off, and then once you turn it off, you've lost everything you recorded. So now my practice is, as soon as I get something I think is usable, I just flip it off and then it's like saved. Alright, so I've got a take here, and I think it's pretty okay. It's like, I know it's simple, and I talked about doing good parts, you know, better bass parts, you know, so that I don't seem like the worst bass player ever and like give it short shrift, but I really feel like, from what I can come up with, somebody else out there in bassland will be like, oh man, you could have done this and you could have done that, and that's probably really true, but it's part of the nature of doing your own thing. It's like there's your downsides or your deficiencies are your deficiencies, and I just got to keep getting better. That includes becoming a better bass player, and I really like bass for, you know, the melodic. You get to the root, you know, and you come up with some really cool ideas. Like, you should write riffs on this, and it's a good way to keep your hands in shape. The action on this is nuts high. Bought this from a guy for $400. And it was money well spent. I love this thing. It's I don't know if I could be a for reals bass player with it, just because it's so heavy. I can't imagine playing this out. Like, I'd rather have like a lighter P bass for my play out thing if I was going to play bass in a band, but nobody wants me to play bass in their band, so that ain't going to happen. All right, so I think I have a usable take. Next step, I've got to finish. I'm always lazy about writing these lyrics. I do it like at the last second, which is probably to my detriment. But that's all I got to do now is just finish up the all of the. Oh, and I didn't mind leaving the guitar plugged in right here. I mean the machine plugged in like I usually unplug it, mainly because we're going to direct, and as long as there was no noise coming in, it's very quiet. It's the other thing about the Zoom, it's really quiet, it's really cool. So that worked well. I just leave it plugged in, and that way we don't suck battery power when I need it later. But I think this is going to be a usable take, and the next thing I got to do, like I said, is go back and finish up the lyrics and just make sure I'm not leaving anything on the table as far as like things to say and like things to just do vocally. See, it's Friday right now. There's a chance I could get back in here over the weekend. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. Yeah. So I need to just sit down and work hard on the lyrics and just come up with the finished thing. But I'm also excited because I got another one to follow up this one with. I don't know if it's as good. I don't know if it's good. And I don't know if any of these are good, you know? That's what's annoying. It's like you're making them and you don't know if they're good or not. And people are nice and you can tell that they're okay, but I want great songs, you know what I mean? I want to make the best songs I can make. So I'm on the eternal quest, and I would like to make these last 4 tunes that I need to write be better than anything that I've done so far. You know, I'm not looking for filler, I'm looking for something killer. All right, next time.